Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like expecting the leadership of a team captain on the football field, but getting a sea captain. You wouldn't settle for just anything for your team. Shouldn't it be the same for your insurance? So don't settle for just any insurance when you can go with a leader. State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome to Sephora.
I'm looking for a perfume that's not too perfumey.
I got you.
Serum moisturizer or moisturizer serum.
Let's get into layering.
My concealer is making me look worse.
Sounds like the wrong shade. Let's get you matched.
There's only one store that really gets what you're going for. Get beauty from people who get beauty. Only at Sephora.
Hi, Let's get you a basket.
Whether your business has 6 floors or 6 employees, Walmart Business has everything you need to save time, money, and hassle. You can restock your break room with bulk ordering or bulk up your ordering team with shared payments. And you can get it all delivered straight to your business's door, whether that's on Wall Street or Main Street. Walmart Business. It's the Walmart you love, now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com.
Are your business expenses playing hide and seek? With Uber for Business, the small spends that slip through the cracks, like rides and meals, go right where you need them. Because it integrates with leading expense platforms, you can say goodbye to surprise costs, missing dollars, or chasing receipts. Everything's track downable. Uber for Business. Make small steps that make a big impact. Learn more at uber.com/small steps.
Tom, what happened last week? Where were you?
Well, I guess I should just come clean. I thought the season was over. Was it not?
No.
It was for some teams, to be fair. To be fair. There was a handful of teams the season was over. Utah, Portland, Washington, Charlotte and Portland. How else is he supposed to know the season's still going? He lives in Charlotte. He works for Portland. Season's over.
I wasn't expecting this level of excuse making from Amin for you, Tom. I was going to come down hard on you.
Yeah.
You think regular season's over, your Blazers gig is done, you can waltz off on a vacation, lose your voice?
That's a good point, Tom. You kind of left us out on a limb there. What's that about?
Well, you know, when LeBron goes on Mind the Game and asks Steve Nash, like, what do you do in the offseason, or they talk about it. Actually, I do kind of sound like Steve Nash.
Yeah, a little bit.
Steve Nash has a raspy voice too, right?
He does, and he's a low talker.
Yeah.
So you got to go a little bit lower. A little bit lower, you do a perfect Steve Nash.
So like Steve Nash, in the offseason, I shut this shit down.
Yeah.
Okay?
You got to.
The vocal cords, I mean, I've been doing Illuminati. I've been doing the Blazers broadcast. I've been doing the big number. I've been doing KOC. I've been doing fatherhood, you know, yelling at my kids.
Maze, does the guy get a break? I mean, come on, man. He's got to rest the pipes a little bit.
Pack your knives.
Overworking this guy.
I'm ordering food.
Pack Your Knives came out last week.
That's a good point, man. You recorded Pack Your Knives, you didn't do Illuminati? What's that about?
Season was over.
Season was over.
I mean, Joe Cronin was extended. Chauncey Billups was extended.
Yeah, everyone got extended.
Game 82. I thought it was done last Sunday against the Lakers. And LeBron and Luka, they went to Cancun. They didn't go to that game either. So their season ended earlier. And I kind of thought, hey, 1, 2, 3 Cancun, you know?
Can't argue with that.
I guess I can't.
Was that your Doc Rivers?
That's my Tom. That's my Tom.
My assignment. Uncover why the association inspires more conspiracy theories in volume and salience than any other U.S. sport.
You've heard of the Illuminati.
The truth is out there, but so are lies.
Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them.
The NBA has always been controlled by about 8 people.
Denial is the most predictable of all human responses.
If you're only using 10% of your brain, you don't even know that you're using 10% of your brain.
The NBA Illuminati.
If coincidences are just coincidences, why do they feel so contrived?
The Illuminati.
But you start to follow the money, and you don't know where the f*** it's going to take you.
It is unspoken. They have influence among other players.
The NBA Illuminati.
I don't have time for your convenient ignorance.
Maybe I'm a conspiracist now as well.
That's all it took. Oh, we got books, we got schools. You saw a video on YouTube.
My eyes, sir. You've never used them before.
We are the Basketball Illuminati.
This is Basketball Illuminati. That's as hard as I can go. This is Basketball Illuminati. I am Tom Haberstroh, and as always, I am joined by the 5-star Illuminati generals, Amin Elhassan and producer Anthony Mays.
Members of the Illumination can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/countthedings. You can also show your support by wearing a Third Eye hat or a Basketball Illuminati shirt or hoodie. Check out the link in the show notes or go to the Count the Dings store on Cotton Bureau and keep that third eye open.
I'm trying, guys. I'm doing my best here. We're going to have the great Jason Timpf join the show later in the program to talk about the opening weekend of the NBA playoffs. I am learning that the NBA playoffs are happening. I thought the season was over, but we're going to bring in Jason to help us out. He does a great job with his post-game shows, part of the Volume Network. You can catch on YouTube, Hoops Tonight. We'll get to him in a little bit, but first.
You are listening to The Agenda with Amin Elhassan and Tom Haberstroh.
Guys, the referees, I think, were in Cancun with me because there's no other explanation. All of the fouls that they called in the regular season, straight pathway fouls, the reaches, the physicality, the moving screens, all of that out the window. And they're taking a little vacation here in the postseason, guys. Have you noticed physicality is way up in the first 2 days of the postseason?
I've noticed that the mentioning of physicality is way up, way up. People love talking about physicality. All these different coaches, all these players. Every year there's a different buzzword or buzz terminology in the playoffs. Remember a couple of years ago it was drop coverage. Everyone just couldn't stop talking about drop coverage. This year physicality is having its moment. It's in the sunshine. It's in the spotlight. Everyone wants to mention it. Everyone wants it. Nobody seems to have it. Physicality.
I wonder if they think that it's write-offable. If you say, oh, well, we weren't ready for the physicality, you can say, oh, that makes sense. I agree. That's a strong point.
Yeah.
We'll have to bounce back in game 2 and be more physicality.
I think my favorite physicality quote was from Steve Kerr, who won his game 1, was asked about the Rockets' physicality and whether he brought that up to the team. And his response was, no, you know what? It slipped my mind.
Thank you for reminding me.
Before game 2, I'll be sure to remind everyone to watch out for the Rockets' physicality.
That was a good one. Well, Fred VanVleet, who's been in the postseason, bled, had facial lacerations where he's just bleeding from the head. He understands the physicality of what it takes to win an NBA championship because in 2019, won a championship with the Toronto Raptors. But it seems he also felt like they didn't match the Warriors' physicality.
Well, it's a little ambiguous, Tom. He said, quote, we just didn't execute. Maybe the physicality was an issue, but I thought we matched that for the most part.
That means Jalen Green didn't match the physicality. That's what that means. He can't say.
For the most part.
For the most part, we did. You can't call out his teammate, but when you're settling for jumpers and not able to get good shots off and basically playing into the hands of the defense, that's what I think that is.
Physicality definitely across all the series has been a buzzword, but Ime Udoka had a different term that he went back to a lot. Playing to the crowd. And he's not talking about the audience. He's talking about the act of a player driving into a sea of humanity and not having a plan, an escape plan or anything about it. I would say Jalen Green, rather than settle for jump shots, although he took a lot of those, according to Ime Udoka, he played to the crowd too much. Not really enough anticipating what the Warriors defense was going to do.
Didn't LeBron talk about physicality too?
Yeah, the Lakers are really responsible for this.
JJ definitely set it off, yeah.
JJ said, quote, "It's not to say our guys weren't ready to withstand a playoff level basketball game. I'm not sure physically we were ready. And really, when the Wolves started playing with a lot of thrust and physicality, we just didn't respond to meet that." And he must have said that to his team in the locker room before he said it in the press conference, because Austin Reeves said, "I think that they just physically beat us from the get-go." And LeBron James said, "Maybe it took us one playoff game to get a feel for it and know what type of intensity, the type of physicality is going to be brought to the game, but that's just the way they play."
I would throw in another additional note of that sort, which is the quarter break. I want to say the third quarter break where George Sedano does the interview with JJ Redick. He said, "We came prepared to play a regular season game, and they came prepared to play a playoff game, and we have to match their physicality." He mentioned physicality in that answer. So he'd already been thinking about it in game, talked about it to the team, talked about it in the post-game. Team regurgitated same talking points. Physicality, guys, it's where it's at.
So ironic that JJ Redick, known hater of agenda-driven media, is out here pushing the physicality agenda as a coach.
This is the problem. Agenda-driven media. I have a problem with it.
He started it. We'll give it to him, even though I think you could also argue that the Pistons at some point they lost the poise and then lost the physicality battle to the Knicks there. I also want to throw out there that BJ Armstrong, three-time champion with the Chicago Bulls, agent, and also podcaster on his podcast, mentioned that the hiring of Scott Perry in Sacramento and Joe Dumars in New Orleans signaled a return of physicality.
No.
Yes, I'll send you the clip. He talked about physicality.
I'm going to say this to all of the young kids who want to play in the NBA. And I'm going to say this to all of the young players, year 2 and year 3. Kids that are in college, kids over in Europe. Hear me and hear me well. With the hiring of Joe Dumars there in New Orleans, the hiring of Scott Perry in Sacramento has signaled this to the rest of the league. This is the return of competitive conflict. If you can't play through physical contact, you're going to have a problem now moving forward in the NBA. There's more conflict that I saw in today's games than I've seen in the last 20 years. If you can't play through this level of physical contact, you're not going to be in the play in the NBA anymore. So we better get used to this, Bo, because there's been a shift in the direction of the NBA. These games today were all refereed in a similar fashion. The NBA now, they've sent out the memo. Let's get back to competing. Let's stop whatever was going on before.
There's no way. There's now front office physicality?
Well, I mean, maybe front offices that espouse physicality.
Yeah.
Joe Dumars, famously, where'd he play? Bad Boy Pistons. What were they about? Physicality. Scott Perry, where did he work? Detroit. What were they about? Again, physicality. It's going around.
I needed you guys to be my editors, man. I should have recorded this before I wrote this piece at The Finder.
You wrote a physicality piece.
I wrote a physicality piece. And not only did I write it, I brought the facts, okay? The facts are 17.4 average free throw attempts. This is per team, per game. Lowest we've ever seen in the opening weekend, basically through every team's first game in NBA history.
Huh.
And if you remember last year, we were all over this story when we were off the grid. We taped many Basketball Illuminati episodes when we were off air. And it was about how Adam Silver and the league office had seen Luka score 70. Joel Embiid scores 70. There were routinely 50, 60-point games in the league. And they said, no more. This is getting out of control. They met with the officials and they made a decree off the record, did not publicize it. They had this point of emphasis video that they always do quarterly. Yet for this particular juncture in the season, you saw free throws plummet, cascade, a waterfall. Now physicality is up. Free throws are down. And so mid-season, they changed the rules to allow more physicality and less foul baiting from the Trae Youngs of the world. That was crazy to do that mid-season. In the regular season this year, there wasn't a continuation of that. Free throw attempts were pretty much back to where it was before. And now you're seeing this big drop off from about 21 free throws per 100 possessions to 18. You might say, what's 3 free throws? That's a lot. That's a huge drop. And if you look at the percentage drop of 15%, that's the largest season over season drop we've ever seen. So physicality is back.
It's back. BJ Armstrong let us know.
I think Joe Dumars coming from the league office and joining New Orleans.
Yeah.
There might be something to it, Amin, now that I think about it.
It's a sea change is what's happening. Do you think Joe Dumars was sick of working at the NBA league office? Because there's no physicality when you're in the league office. It's like the opposite, right? You're legislating.
Yeah, and you know what? He tried to do this at the All-Star game. Remember when he tried to talk to the players of the All-Star game? And hey, you guys need to bring it. Physicality.
That was last year in Indiana. It was him and Andre Iguodala, right? And Larry Bird, the 3 of them. They called them in.
Yeah, and Adam Silver was like, yo, we're going to see a different game tonight because we got Larry in there.
Yep.
We got Joe Dumars in there.
And Andre Iguodala.
If they don't respond to them, they're never going to respond to anything. We've pulled out all the stops, and there was no physicality.
No physicality in the All-Star game.
I think this is big. I think we might see a little bit of a bounce back. Maybe there's going to be a little bit of a change. But for the opening weekend, the fact that the Minnesota Timberwolves beat the Lakers with 10 free throw attempts, it's nuts. A postseason. Yes, postseason is a lot more physical, but we just haven't seen.
The Lakers hadn't committed a foul until I want to say the 4-minute mark of the second quarter. They went a long time without even committing a foul, which I remember on the broadcast. I can't remember who brought it up. I think it was Jay Billis said, that's not always a good thing. And sure enough, it wasn't. No physicality.
Do you think this is like in the playoffs when a coach will basically say the referees don't know how to referee my star player?
Shaq, Giannis, LeBron.
No one gets murdered at the rim.
But then also you get sometimes it's secret talking about Steph Curry, sometimes Chris Paul. Either you're this Adonis, nobody calls fouls when my guy gets hammered, or it's a little dainty guy. Oh, my guy's getting buffeted around there and he gets no calls, no respect from the refs.
So who do you think this benefits the most? If the physicality is way up and it's basically legal now to harass and to play with
force,
your body up on a guy.
That's like Steve Kerr's special force. We played with force. We got to play with more force. We didn't play enough force.
Play with force.
Force is like the forefather of physicality. Force is a big one with Spo as well, right? Playing with force.
Intensity. Do you think intensity and force birth physicality? Like they got together, they hit the dance floor?
I think so. I think you can be intense without force. You can be forceful without intensity. But when you're forceful and intensity, 9 months later, physicality comes out. Bouncing baby physicality.
Well, Tom, I wonder if your math here isn't setting up a regression to the mean, and if this getting the physicality name around the water cooler isn't trying to accelerate that process. Isn't JJ Redick saying in a subtle way, they were too physical, NBA?
Ooh.
Maybe you guys need to open up your 2 eyes, keep your 3rd eye closed, but 2 eyes wide open, refs, and call some more fouls because of this physicality.
Okay, so this is the Phil Jackson, Maze, what you're describing, right? The Phil Jackson, which is to say something like, how tough is it to guard Steve Nash? Oh, it's so tough. You know, especially how he carries the ball. It's so difficult for defenders to like get a read on what he's doing with it, right? He doesn't say the refs need to call it. He doesn't complain to the league. He says it matter-of-factly like he's describing Steve Nash. And my favorite response was Steve Nash responded to him and said, well, the greatest coach of all time, Greg Popovich, didn't seem to have a problem with it. So it was perfect. But yeah, this happens a lot. And if there was ever anyone who was a poster child for who's going to do the passive-aggressive complaint to the referees, it would absolutely be JJ Redick. But I have an alternate theory. What if it is a passive-aggressive plea, but not to the NBA, as you're suggesting, but to his own team?
Yeah.
Hey, we got to meet that physicality. We got to get up to that physicality level.
We got to foul the shit out of him, is what he's saying.
We got to foul the shit out of them.
Jackson Hayes says, I got you, coach.
Yes. I am willing to foul the shit out of him. And really, that is what playoff basketball is about to become. There's 2 teams that are out fouling So there's going to be no shit left in them. You're going to foul the shit out of them.
The shit is out of them.
Your intestines, they're empty. And that's what it's really going to come down to is, hey, did you score more points than your opponent? Well, let me first check how many fecal matter we had in their intestines. Is there any?
Yeah, not much.
We fouled the shit out of them. We won. That's what the game is going to be about.
It's either that or hoping that the Timberwolves turn back into a pumpkin and shooting threes, right? Because that's the other part of this. It's like, all right, I'll live with Anthony Edwards shooting 4 for 9 from 3. Man, that's life, right? I'll live with Mike Conley going 2 for 3. Yeah, it happens. I'll even live with Naz Reid going 6 of 9. He's a good shooter. But 3 of 3 from Jaden McDaniels and 4 of 6 from Julius Randle. Those are the ones where I'm like, get the fuck out of here, man. I'm not. Shoot that shit again. I hope you do. If anything, I'm happy Julius Randle went 4 for 6. Because I want to see him just keep shooting. That's what I'd love to see if I'm the Lakers. There's a lot of this that's just, if the guys that don't typically shoot great from 3 got a confidence boost from game 1, we'll be in good shape. Physicality be damned.
I mean, I got a question. What's the antithesis of physicality? And do you think that has the potential to become a buzzword later this postseason? Is it mental focus?
No.
What would it be where like, now we got to play more physical and then suddenly they're calling fouls?
Oh, I got it. I got exactly what it is.
Okay.
Execution.
Execution.
Physicality, I can be crazy. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, but they didn't call it. And so I can run roughshod over someone and then get the ball, get the possession, get the benefit, right? When they start whistling, I have to do it with force, but I got to be able to stop on a dime. This side of the line, the right side of the line, that's the ability to execute. Defend without fouling. We got to execute the schemes. We got to be right place, right time. You got to be there a step early, right? Execution. That's all execution. We'll hear execution for sure. Execution always makes an.
You can get out executed, right?
For sure.
That's a word we'll hear for sure in this postseason. Hey,
we got out executed. I'm gonna tell you who it'll be against. Someone will say it about the Warriors, or they'll say it about the Thunder, or they'll say it about the Celtics.
Boston. I was gonna say Boston. I feel like will out execute a lot of teams.
Those 3 right there, fuck, they out executed. They executed their game plan, and we need to. We can't rely only on physicality. I feel like Ime Udoka is going to say we got to out-execute at some point. He's got to. He's a big execution guy, but I don't think his guys are. Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, I'm going to put a call out to the Illumination out there. I want you to, if you hear something, say something. If you hear a coach or a player saying execution or some form of that word or physicality, I want to see the scoreboard for the rest of the postseason.
I like it.
If it's more about execution or if it's more about physicality. And we're going to see who wins that battle between execution and physicality.
Well, in the sweet spot, the point of equilibrium, right, is when you get physicality and execution.
That's how you win a championship.
That's Jimmy Butler right there. The meeting point of physicality and execution.
That's how playoff Jimmy was born.
Yep. Those two. On the dance floor. 9 months later.
Listener, listen up. This is important. Okay, I'm going to try to save you some money here. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. You may think like, oh, that's bad. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. You heard that correctly. $15 per month. Ditch overpriced wireless and the jaw-dropping monthly bills. And of course, there are all these hidden fees and stuff, but at Mint Mobile, plans start at $15 per month. All the plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text. You're not doing like weekend and nighttime minutes or anything like that. And it's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone. Don't have to get a new phone. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I switched months ago. People have asked, did you actually switch? Yes, I actually switched months ago, and I don't know what to do with all this extra money. I've cheated the system here. I've rigged something. This is an Ocean's 11 situation where I'm stealing wireless from Mint. That's how good a deal it is. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/dings. That's DINGS. That's mintmobile.com/dings. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Hello, listener. It's Producer Maze here to talk to you about Quince and their cookware. Cooler nights mean cozy meals at home, and Quince's cookware has made fall cooking so much more enjoyable. Their pieces deliver the quality and performance of luxury brands, but at a price that makes sense. And they look gorgeous on the stovetop, too. No matter what item you need to complete your kitchen, Quince has you covered with 5-ply stainless steel pots and pans, nonstick skillets, chef-quality knives, and even ceramic bakeware, which is perfect for cozy casseroles or Sunday roasts. And when you look at these prices, you might think, how is Quince doing this? How do they deliver high-quality items similar to high-end brands that are half the price? Well, let me tell you, they partner directly with ethical top-tier factories to cut out the middlemen and pass the savings on to you. And it's not just cookware. I got myself some bath sheets. That's right. When you're a tall man, you have to use bath sheets, not bath towels from Quince. It's like drying off with the cloud. It's incredible. Upgrade your kitchen for cozy fall meals with premium cookware from Quince. Go to quince.com/dings for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dings. Hello, listener. It's Producer Maze here to talk to you about Kindred. Now, close your eyes like Owen Wilson during a job interview and imagine a way to travel that feels personal, comfortable, and connected without the price tags and the sterile feelings of hotels or short-term rentals. Now open your eyes and stop using your imagination because Kindred has made it very real. That's exactly what they do. Kindred is a members-only home swapping network. It's not a hotel. It's not a short-term rental. It's a smarter way to travel where each stay feels like home. Here's how it works. With Kindred, your home is your ticket. You earn credits by hosting fellow Kindred members, and then you use those credits to stay in over 220,000 homes in more than 100 cities worldwide. There are no hotel costs or rental fees, just the credits that you've earned. Every stay comes with white glove service, 24/7 trip support, and $100,000 in host protection. Make it easier for you to travel and enjoy yourself and not worry about details. I've used Kindred and I found an amazing home for a weekend getaway in an idyllic location with amazing views and great ambiance. It had everything I needed. And the best part was, it cost me $0. So apply now at livekindred.com and use code DINGS to join for free. Plus, you'll earn 5 nights of travel credit just for signing up. That's right, that's 5 whole nights for free at livekindred, KINDRED.com, code DINGS, DINGS, livekindred.com, code DINGS.
Don't chew on that, Max.
Cooper loves that chew, too.
Oh, now he's into Cooper's food. Wow, he is loving it. What do you feed Cooper?
Blue Buffalo Life Protection Formula. He never leaves a crumb. I love it because it's made with high-quality protein, nutrient-rich fruits and veggies, and wholesome whole grains.
Looks like we're switching to Blue.
Blue Buffalo foods are made with the superior ingredients your dog needs to thrive. Can your dog food say that? Visit feedbluefood.com to learn more.
Are you a forward thinker? Then you need an HR and finance platform that thinks like you do. Workday is the AI platform that helps propel your organization, your workforce, and your industry into the future. Workday, moving business forever forward.
You all think I'm late. Well, I'm not late. And I'm going to stay right here and fight for this lost cause, even if this room gets filled with lies like these. And the Taylors and all their armies come marching into this place. Somebody will listen to me.
There's no better way to overpower a trickle of doubt than with a flood of naked truth.
But the complexity and the gray lie not in the truth, but what you do with the truth once you have it.
What is true and right is true and right for all.
You and I both know that that's just not the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
It's too messy. Keeps them up nights.
I'm here because in the end, the truth is worth the risk.
Speak a little truth and people lose their minds.
I'm a grown man. You can Tell me the truth.
Why is it people who want the truth never believe it when they hear it?
So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something really outrageous. I'm going to tell the truth.
Our next guest always has his third eye open and also a head of lettuce. Your hair is incredible, man. You pull it back and you've got some serious flow.
Top half of this screen is a lot of jealousy up here, man.
Yeah.
My wife and I were actually joking about it last night because I've never had long hair ever in my life up until this last year. And when I was like 19, I used to literally go out in my backyard with like a buzzer with the number 2 and just like shave my head because I was a basketball player. All I cared about was playing basketball. And so now I'm learning what it's like to have long hair.
We call that the Jada kiss. Oh, you were bald by choice. You just chose to shave it all off. You never had to do it on purpose.
You can do the headband.
Max Strus?
Yeah, the Max Strus.
No, I just was lazy. I don't know. I just had no view of the bigger picture. It was like I wore my Jordan shorts and my T-shirts every day, and I just went to the gym and played basketball. That was literally like all I did. Like it was weird. Actually, I remember I had a girlfriend when I was 21 who finally was like, "Hey, you don't have to do the 2 on the entire head. You could do it like on the sides and then like let it go a little bit up top."
You can have
like,
a
what?
She introduced you to the concept of.
Oh man, yeah.
See, like in high school, I had long hair in high school, which a lot of people don't know this about me. I didn't actually cut my hair until I was a sophomore in college, and my wife was dating me when I had long hair, and I'll send this picture out to the guys and they're like, "That's not you. That can't possibly you." So I'm the opposite. I had long hair, and then when I show people those photos, they don't think it's me. They think it's been photoshopped. We have entered this new place in the world where it's like, I know that that's photoshopped, or Grok did it, or some chat GPT agent figured that out. But you're doing the opposite thing. You're like, you know what? I can grow out my hair and I might as well do it now before I lose it, right?
Yeah, it's funny. Every once in a while, the Volume will post a promo for like one of our live shows or something, and it's this shot from like the first Volume party when I first got hired, and I still was rocking the fade, and I just don't even recognize the person I see. It's crazy.
All right, so you're doing this. We're catching you on the same day as your wife's birthday, and you texted me back and you said, "Hey, I've got maybe a small window when my wife is going out for errands, and I can knock this out." So, hey, happy birthday to your better half, and thank you for allowing Jason to share his wisdom. Does she know that you're doing this on the errands, or are you kind of sneaking this in?
Yeah, no, she recommended it. So like we had planned on going to get some sushi lunch, just went to go get some sushi. It was fantastic, but she is picking up my niece from school. So it's something that she literally had to do. And I had already planned on taking some downtime around that time anyway. So this is perfect.
Amazing. So thank you for doing that. Hey, we got to talk about the Warriors because you just did a video up on your YouTube. It's the Hoops Tonight show by Jason Timpf. I listened to you on the House of Strauss. You're fantastic, and you do great analysis. And you called the Stephen Curry performance in Game 1 a master class. And we've seen some unbelievable outings from Stephen Curry. What stuck out to you in this particular game, and why you put it on the same bar as some of the greats of Stephen Curry?
So I thought it was just the intelligent way that he attacked. Like, we think of the crazy shots, and there were a few of them. There were 4 or 5 last night that were just absolutely preposterous. But you're not going to get to an efficient 30 unless you find ways to generate easy offense. And that's like just finding every small opportunity to shed Amin Thompson in some way, shape, or form. So we saw an assortment of things. We saw early screening actions in the possession to get Jalen Green switched on to Steph. Jalen Green's just nowhere near as disciplined as a defender. They ran multiple times in the first shift, like an action where they would flow pods with Steph right into a screen with Moody. So they get Jalen Green and Şengün in the action, and they got Steph a couple clean looks on those. He actually missed those ones early in the game, but they were clean looks. He got free on back cuts a few times. But there was a really fun one where he like shoved Amin Thompson like he was going to come off the screen. And then right after he shoved him, then he back cut. And Amin just went the opposite direction and he was clean at the basket. Transition pushes. He got several transition cross matches that way. They got a easy reverse layup for Jimmy Butler on an action where he pushed in transition and Gary Payton got picked up by Şengün, and they immediately went to pick and roll because they trust Gary Payton to be able to make the short roll reads out of those sequences. There were just so many examples of like him just finding these really smart ways to catch Houston's defense before they were really loaded up in a way to stop him. And like that was, I just thought it was he literally took it personally, what happened a couple weeks ago, and said, I'm going to prove I can score on these guys, and I can score on these guys easily. And I just thought his approach the entire game was really, really smart.
Was it C.J. Stroud's fault or was it Tillman Fertitta? Because they kept saying C.J. Stroud, but I believe Tillman Fertitta was sitting right in front of him.
Yes.
So I kind of feel like Tillman Fertitta was the one who was doing all the talking.
They cut to a C.J. finally, and he kind of had a little bit of an expression on his face. Like the conversation was a little more intense than I realized. I was like, oh, they might have actually been going at it a little bit here.
Wait, how does Tillman Fertitta not give up the seat to C.J. Stroud?
Dog.
Like, I mean, come on. I know he's the owner. He's C.J. Stroud.
Shut Up in Business, from the author of Shut Up in Business.
You can sit in my second row. Come on. Right behind me, right over the...
At least tell your guests to sit in the back, right? Like, CJ, you can sit next to me, right?
Yeah.
Your homeboy can sit behind us.
I think Steph Curry's ability to finish is his most underrated skill. And we've talked about it with Brandon Payne on this show, is just, he's not just a shooter. And I think almost like the whole label of Stephen Curry's the greatest shooter ever almost is a backhanded compliment, because it suggests that like that's just his skill. He's a specialist. But when you watch him against the Houston Rockets, he's 7 of 10 on twos. He was 100% in the paint. Like, the guy is an elite finisher, where like Steven Adams, Jabari Smith, Şengün, they can like collapse and slap both sides of the backboard, and he's still going to be able to finish. I don't know, man. The fact that he's still doing this at this age, you're right. It was a masterclass.
Tom, it's one of my favorite stats of all time, is that the unanimous MVP season that Steph had. Yeah, he also led the league in steals.
Yeah.
That's been disintegrated somewhere. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, he shot 50, 40, 90 average. He led the league in scoring. No one remembers, oh, yeah, he also led the league in steals that year. And it's like everyone's focused on the shooting, like you said.
He had 3 really great defensive possessions early in the game when they tried to attack him directly. It was one with Jalen Green where he just got super physical with him right away, and Jalen immediately lost his composure and just started trying to dribble at him. And Steph actually has a surprisingly strong frame. I think that's an underrated aspect when he's playing physical defense. You got to stop against Şengün in a switch where he just got up underneath him and disrupted his base. They tried to post Dylan Brooks on him on the right block, and Steph fought for position and forced him to catch out like 22 feet away. So he ended up just bailing and passing the ball out. He was battling, man. He was digging down off the ball. It was, I'm glad you brought up the finishing. He had 2 insane finishes last night. The one on Tari Eason, where he curled around the with Dylan Brooks chasing him. He curled the screen, and Tari came flying over, and he just served it right up high off the glass. And then there was another play where he pushed in transition, engaged Steven Adams early in the possession. Really smart. It was like, if I push, someone's going to have to grab me based on transition defense principles. He pushed up, and Steven Adams grabbed him, and then he blew by Steven Adams. And both Şengün and Jabari Smith like sandwiched him at the rim, and he shot from below his hip on the right side of the basket. Like, he went down and just kind of flipped it up below his hip and just spun it in off the glass. It was just ridiculous, man. Like the one of the simple stat that I would say to demonstrate that it was one of his better playoff games, when you factor in the degree of difficulty, the way the defense was selling out on him, at one point he made 11 out of 12 shots. 11 out of 12, and like at least 2/3 of those were like an 8 out of 10 difficulty or higher. Just preposterous shot making in a game where that was literally the difference. That was the difference in the game, was Steph brought shot making and really no one else did except for Jimmy a little bit, you know?
If you had to pick one shot that was the most preposterous of them all, which one would it be?
Oh man, I'm going to go with the step back over Dylan Brooks. He got decent separation on the 2 others that he hit on Amin Thompson. Like the 30-footer, he stuck that in right off the back of the rim. Like, you just could tell right as it came off his hands that he just got great lift, and it was just like a easy release for him. But the one on Dylan Brooks, it was late in the clock, and Dylan got really physical with him, and he hit him with like a hesitation, step back, and then finally on the last one, he barely got enough separation and just shot a moon ball over the top of him that went in. That was a ridiculous shot.
You said you played hoops. Was it you played D1 hoops, or what did you play in college?
NAIA. I was a journeyman. I didn't even play in college until my 3rd year. I was like a terrible high school basketball player. And then I just kind of clawed my way up through the JUCO ranks, and I ended up playing 1 year of NAIA before I ran out of eligibility.
Do people, when they see you in like media circles, I don't know how often you go to games and meet other media members, are they always surprised at how tall you are, or like that you like played hoops? Or is it because you can't really tell on YouTube that you used to play?
On the camera? Yeah.
Yeah. Maze, right now you're looking at Maze. Do you know how tall Maze is?
How tall are you, Maze?
6'6".
Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. I wouldn't have known. I would have guessed 6 foot, 6'2", something around those lines.
5'4". Yeah. 5'4" with a fedora.
Mm-hmm. I was wondering which direction you were going here. I was like, are they about to like just go at Maze here for some reason?
Yep, unpredictable.
In Vegas is usually where I end up running into everybody. So that's been the major kind of offsite event we've been doing with Hoops Tonight, and I'm sure we'll be out there again this year. But I'm 6'6" and I weigh 225 pounds, so I'm pretty big compared to most people that you meet, but I'm not exceptionally tall. It's not like if Chandler Parsons walked into a room or something, you're like, oh my God, clear, NBA level athlete. I was big, but not in any sort of exceptional, eye-catching kind of way, if that makes sense.
Do you think Steph Curry is more admired by former hoopers than he is by people who don't follow the NBA and just watch and oh my God, he hit that shot from 30 feet away off balance. That's crazy. But I feel like junkies or people who played basketball, seriously appreciate how good this dude is. You mentioned how strong he is. KK Lyles, who was the strength coach and one of the top performance directors for the Golden State Warriors during the finals, pulls me aside. He's like, dude, do you realize how strong Steph is? He has the strongest deadlift on the team. He trap bar pulling up like this, he has the strongest hips on the squad. And people don't realize this, how much skill and strength it takes for him to perform at that level.
When I was, 10 years ago and I was fresh out of college, I was a really late bloomer. I didn't get into basketball until really late. And so I didn't know a ton about the game around that time. I've learned so much about the game in the decade since as I fell in love with basketball and it just was more of an adult life endeavor. So when Steph was playing in 2014, 2015, I just hated him because I was a LeBron fan.
Really?
Right?
Oh, man.
And so it wasn't until over the years as I became a better basketball player, as I learned more about the game, that I grew to have an immense appreciation for what he does. And now at this point I do. And I think back to little things when he said that between 2015 and 2016, he credited the leap in his scoring to a lower body regimen that summer. And I find that to be really fascinating because the way I play the game is very much movement shooter, off the dribble shooter. And easily the most important element to whether or not I can get my game off is if I have my base. If I'm in good shape and I've been working out and my legs are strong, I feel like I can just get to wherever I want to on the floor and lift. Once I get lift and once I get straight up and down, the flip of the wrist is just natural for me because I've been working on it for my entire life, right? But it's A to B getting to the spot where you take the shot that is all about footwork and leg strength. And I thought that was super fascinating because that was a substantial increase in his scoring volume. He went from 24 points a game, 23, 24 points a game as an MVP, and then substantially increased his scoring, not because of the way the roster changed. It was the same roster. It was the same group of guys. He just leveraged his leg strength to get open more and added this insane volume scoring element to what was already such a strong foundation in just his movement and everything he could do to create offense for that team. And I just thought that was super fascinating. I gave a bunch of examples earlier, but the intelligent way that he goes about scoring. I've said this before. I actually think Steph has been better in this era, mainly in that 2022, 2021 era than even he was in 2016, because you can accredit a lot of his success back then to defensive schemes just having no idea how to handle him. And now we're in this phase where it's the book's been out on how to guard the Warriors forever. Top block him, be physical as hell, play off all their shooters and sit in the paint, funnel him in back cuts into your size. It's been out for years. And Steph has just been finding a way to solve that puzzle over and over and over again.
You just said it. Amin, we talked about earlier how one of the buzzwords in the past was drop coverage. Mm-hmm. I was thinking another buzzword is top blocking.
Top block.
Top blocking at a moment.
So Jason, every year there's a term that dominates all the chatter. Every series seems to be out. Every analysis.
Yeah.
A couple years ago was drop coverage. Last year was it last year, 2 years ago was top blocking. And then this year's physicality.
Physicality, yeah.
Every single series, someone's talking about physicality.
Every game is about physicality, and in ways that go to TomTheFinder.com and see how fouls are down more this postseason than they've ever been, even through one game of each series. It is lower than we've ever seen. Physicality is way up, and it's being rewarded. And against Steph Curry, you'd think that a guy who's 6'3", and in real people terms, that's like enormous, but like you'd think just be physical with him. And this is where I differ from Strauss. Strauss thinks that like if you allow more hand checking up at the top, you're going to be able to reduce 3-point shooting. I just think Steph and those guys are too good off the ball that I don't think it matters. I think they're too quick. I think their handles are too good. You can't stay with them. You can't.
I think it changes a little bit. Not for him. Like Jason said, for him, he solved that equation so many times that even if you added a new wrinkle like that, within time, I think he would find a way. But I think across the vast majority, I think most guys are going to be bothered by the impeding of progress, both on ball and then also off ball, right? Because if you can hand check, that's the thing that people don't talk about. It's really the off ball hand checking. It's the grabbing, it's the holding, it's the clipping by the bigs on all, like every screen you run around, you're going to get hit by someone else. And I think that's the stuff that kind of throws guys off balance. But for Steph, I guess that's the other thing. We'll go back to what we're talking about. He's so much stronger than people understand, right? And it's that core strength and that lower body strength that allows him to overcome that physicality and get to those spots and make those shots and be able to make those shots despite having to contort at times. He had one Sunday night where it was a side out of bounds. They inbounded to Podziemski and he like runs, curls, turns, and fires. And it was literally, they say logo 3. It was literally from the Toyota Center logo. And man, I wish I had the technology to just run the timer. What was the amount of time that ball was in his hands? Had to be less than half a second. Had to about 0.4 of a second. Not because he had to, but just because he can. And I think that's the shit for me is when I see him do these things. A lot of times I'm like, oh, he didn't have to do that. He did it because I can do it. And you talk about, Jason, the desire to prove that, hey, that 3-point game a couple weeks ago wasn't shit. Like it was that. It was let me show them something else. Let me do this one. Let me shoot from right here. Let me shoot it like this. Let me shoot it when he's on top of me like this. Let me play with them like this. Not because this is the only way I can score, but because I want to.
They find a way to weaponize that off-ball dynamic to their benefit. And this is where, Tom, like I do agree with the larger point you're making, which is like Steph's getting grabbed and held all over the place. And so there's two ways to handle that. You can succumb to it, or you can play that game and just play it better than they do. And so what Steph has done is like Steph has become in incredible cardio shape, so he can hold up under that physicality over the course of games. He's added the physical strength to his upper body that was already there with his lower body. But even beyond that, there's technique stuff, the way he sets guys up for screens. He will shove off. It's like, okay, if the ref's going to let him grab and hold me, he's probably going to let me be physical with him too. So let me play this game too. And then the Warriors screening game. The Warriors screening game is probably the best in the NBA. And it's because they know that like they are super physical with Steph off the ball. We're going to be physical back, and we're actually just going to win that battle. It's actually crazy how often the Warriors have been underrated as just like a scrap team overall. Like even last night, you look at what happened down the stretch. Houston's offensive rebounding was a huge factor. They had 22 of them in the game. But who was the team that was dominating the glass down the stretch? It was literally Podziemski and Draymond and Jimmy getting in there over and over and over again. They can scrap. And so I think I've seen a lot of Warriors fans complain about that physicality. I bet you if you ask the Warriors, they'd say they're happy with the arrangement. They'll politic for foul calls like every team does. But behind the scenes, they're like, yeah, let's play this way. We're better at this than you guys. And we're going to show you how we do it. And that's what they do.
Jason, it's time to mention he who must not be named. The Warriors exiled one, Jonathan Kuminga, who a lot of people look around and say, where's Jonathan Kuminga? Is he injured? I thought he was a top 10 pick on this team, and he's more or less been benched. Where do you stand on the Kuminga situation? Do you think the Warriors will need him to get out of this round and make a run towards another championship?
I support Steve Kerr's decision to, at this point, with the way things have gone, to not have played him yet. If they end up down 12, 13 points in the second quarter, call it 37-24 with 8 minutes left in the second quarter, I think you got to pull him out of the deck and give him a shot, because his athleticism can at least be a factor on the glass, just as a transition athlete getting back, as a guy that could potentially do some advantage creation if you get him into a favorable matchup. But like, Steve Kerr has always had a pulse for this sort of thing. You know, when Jimmy Butler came into town, he alleviated that scoring forward role. And even in that late portion of the season, when he wasn't bringing the volume scoring, he was doing enough to make it all work. Now Jimmy's bringing volume scoring. He's getting buckets just about every night too. But like, now that Jimmy's bringing that scoring forward piece, the actual specific things they need from Jonathan Kuminga happen to be all the things he's not very great at right now. And so when it comes to his upside, which is the things he can do as a scoring forward, he's super inconsistent and volatile. So like, I totally think it's reasonable for Steve Kerr to be like, he's a break glass in case of emergency. Like, let's throw, J.R. Smith in here and see if he can get hot and hit 4 threes. It's that kind of thing. But if he's not there, you pull him. Like, I think he'll get burned in a game this series when the Warriors fall down big early.
For a limited time at McDonald's, get a Big Mac Extra Value Meal for $8. That means 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, and medium fries, and a drink. We may need to change that jingle.
Prices and participation may vary.
At Starbucks, we've more than doubled parental leave for full and part-time baristas, giving them up to 18 weeks of paid time off, so they can be there for early bedtimes, late nights, first laughs, and spend more time with the best company they know. At Starbucks, benefits like parental leave are just the start. Learn more about Starbucks industry-leading benefits at starbucks.com/partners.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Contentful. Marketers, you know that feeling when your creative clicks? When that social post sends engagement through the roof? When your outside-of-the-box campaign hits ROI positive? When a personalized homepage turns prospects into customers? It's utter marketing bliss. Contentful helps you create tailored omni-channel experiences without working overtime. No stress, no limits, only possibilities. Get the feels at Contentful.com.
Big news. Sephora is now on Uber Eats. So if you find yourself facing a beauty emergency, like needing a last-minute gift, or you're just out of your favorite mascara, again, don't panic. We got you. Order now and get $10 off on Sephora orders of $50 or more on the Uber Eats app. Order now. Offer ends October 30th. 1 order per customer. Additional terms apply. See app for availability. Delivery fees may apply.
I want to go back to LeBron. So tell me about your LeBron journey and why you were so fascinated with LeBron. And then...
Yeah, Tom, that's a great question. Why would you be so fascinated with LeBron of all people? I mean, he's like an okay basketball player.
I just want to know, we've heard Waz's story and like his evolution of the LeBron story. I just wanted to hear, Jason, what was it? Are you from Ohio, or are you a West Coast guy? Like where did you come to be a huge LeBron fan?
Where were you exposed to LeBron James? Like, it must have been some local phenomenon, right?
Why is this such a bad question?
Okay, true story. I grew up in a family that was all football and baseball. And like both my brothers played college football. My little brother played at West Point. It was team captain there for a couple of years. I'm very proud of what he accomplished there.
Thank you for your service.
And for me, like, I got exposed to basketball by accident. I literally walked in the living room, happened to be playing, I think it was 2006. It was game 7 of the Pistons Cavs series, the one that the Pistons actually won. And during the game, they were just obviously singing the praises of the way LeBron had dragged the team to that point. LeBron laid an absolute stinker in that game, if you guys remember, and the Pistons ended up winning. But then I went into the 2007 season and just followed the game very closely, and just that was what got me to fall in love with basketball. So like I went from being in a family that like didn't really expose me to a ton of basketball to like suddenly it being the thing that has literally changed my entire life. And so there's always like an emotional kind of like attachment to me, the younger fan, the 15, 16-year-old kid that fell in love with basketball because of LeBron James. And then from there, it honestly just stems from the success. Like, I've seen a lot of Steph fans trying to push the narrative that he was better than LeBron James. I don't hate the effort at all. I get it. You want to know why Steph fans feel that way? Because he's come through for them over and over and over again. You want to know why I feel the way I feel about LeBron? Because he's come through for me over and over and over again. Whenever I'm rooting for him in a big game, I just feel confident that he's going to be great and that he's going to do everything he can to help his team. And over decades, literally, rooting for him, there was just so much success and so much of that. And so that it's been interesting at this phase of my life now that I work in this field. Like I have this one tiny attachment to the emotional young fan, because all the other players I watched growing up are out of the league now. So it's like at this point, it's like LeBron is like that one last attachment I have to that younger fan me. And then when LeBron retires, then I'll go to be like the true, honest, unbiased basketball analyst.
See, this is a great story. This is where I asked the question, is because LeBron made him fall in love with the game.
Yeah.
Like, LeBron's the guy. He didn't even like basketball.
Basketball's been very good to me, man. It's been very good to me. I'm very, very fortunate, and I literally wouldn't have fallen in love with the game if it wasn't for him when I was a teenager. So there you go.
The TV could have been on any other channel.
Yeah,
might have been American Idol. Jason would have been singing now.
Dude, it's even random that all my brothers are like 6'1" or shorter, and I'm 6'6". Like it's just super random.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know what happened there.
Freak gene.
Yeah,
milkman.
They tried to keep you away from basketball because they knew that was the one sport that you'd be able to take them.
I remember when I came to my parents and I was like, hey, I got a scholarship to play at this junior college. And they're like, what? Because it was like they had no idea. Like I was like secretly becoming a good basketball player behind the scenes and they didn't even realize.
Like scholarship for what?
Oh, man.
So we did this episode, it was a couple weeks ago on here about how Draymond figured out the edge that he was going to get on Defensive Player of the Year was that he has a podcast and he's going to go out and blast that he is the candidate. 100% case that he is the Defensive Player of the Year. And right after he said that, after the Giannis game, his like sportsbook odds and his polymarket odds just skyrocketed after he declared that. And I was like, oh, this is all just like him talking. And then I think you came out with a video that was like, Draymond's the guy. Draymond's the Defensive Player of the Year for you.
Good teammate, Jason.
And I was like, wait, Jason's like one of the smartest guys I know on basketball. So it isn't just about the talk. Draymond can walk. He's got the whole case. If Jason says it.
I tend to think that the size and strength element is more disruptive on defense than length and speed, even to a certain extent. So part of it is like personal preference. Like I find Lou Dort to be a much better perimeter defender than Jaden McDaniels, for example. I believe that, and it's just because of like my personal experience with the game, I always find the big, strong athletes that bother you down low to be way more disruptive than the skinny athlete where I can just get my shoulder inside position and I'm bumping you off and I'm getting to wherever I want to on the floor. So part of it is that.
It goes back to LeBron beating up Tayshaun Prince.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Or how Ben Wallace destroyed Zydrunas Ilgauskas, either way.
Yeah. Well, I think Lou Dort last year in the semis versus Luka is a great example. It's like the only guy I've seen in a playoff series literally make Luka like complain to the refs nonstop and be completely like out of sorts. Like that, it's just the strength element. And then the second piece of it is, first of all, the Warriors were literally the number one defense in the league post trade deadline. They were top 10 in the NBA for the entire stretch before that. If you look at that team, they're dreadfully undersized, and Draymond just playing way bigger than he is makes up for 90% of that. The Warriors give up the second fewest unguarded catch and shoot jump shots in the league per synergy. And a big part of that is Draymond has this unbelievable ability to have a foot in the paint and still get great contests on weak side closeouts. It was like a huge part of the Lakers win, him preying on Rui Hachimura being hesitant, shooting against the closeout. Dating all the way back to that Celtics series in 2022, I'm like, he's making these insane 5-out spacing. Everyone's in a spot where they can shoot, and he's just getting guys off the line. Like, he is just a unbelievably versatile and destructive weapon. And I watched Evan Mobley this year. I'm a huge believer in what he does. Draymond, to me, is the most impactful defender in basketball because of his combination of the IQ piece, the strength piece on the ground, but also the ability to cover ground in rotation.
Then the ability to impose his will defensively. I think that, and then also the ability to make other people better defensively by virtue of his communication. He talks constantly. And one of the plays that I'll never forget was, I want to say it was against the Blazers in 2019, where they had, Dame had the ball up top. It was after timeout. It was an end of game situation. And Iguodala decides to jump him. He audibled the jump. And then once that happened, Draymond, who was, I can't remember who the big was, he was on the inside of him. As soon as he sees Andre go, he goes to the outside of him and wraps his arm around this way. And so when the ball eventually finds its way to the corner, he closes out and gets the fingertip on it, boxes out, game over. And I'm like, that whole thing was because he saw this and took it's the subtlest of things. And 9 out of 10 NBA players would not have moved because I'm not going to give up inside position to my man who's the big right at the rim. But Draymond's like, I'm going to put my arm around him this way and then step on the outside of him because he knows if the ball goes that way and I'm on the inside position, I get screened, and that's a wide open shot. And I think that he's the guy more than anybody I see where you can actually see him do the math of all the shit going on defensively. And the whole time, yapping, which is, I mean, like, that's the one thing I don't know. From pros all the way down to, I have a 14-year-old. I don't know why players don't like to talk. They just don't like talking. I don't know if they feel like it's corny or whatever, but the ability to talk like a middle linebacker, like football players all talk the whole time. But basketball, for whatever reason, guys don't want to talk. And I think that's one of the advantages that Draymond brings is that he's just a talker.
This is a huge part of why it's impossible to flip the switch in the postseason if you don't do the work in the regular season. That communication connection with your team is like intricately laid out over the course of the season. He had that defensive anticipation piece. He had 2 plays like that in the fourth quarter yesterday. It was a play where Steven Adams tried to hit a back cut, and Draymond just was like, Steven Adams, like, you're not going to shoot out here. So he just dropped off of it and ended up getting the cut. And then there was a high-low action where he was guarding Şengün up around the elbow. And I think it was Tari Eason had an inside seal on Steph with no backside help. So, like, if Şengün could have gotten the pass over the top, it would have been an easy bucket. But Draymond literally just just dropped off of Şengün and ended up just jumping up and high pointing the ball and getting the steal. Like, half of the damage he does is literally just being a step of the play mentally. A step ahead of the play, I should say.
Yeah, I think defensively, I'm not too worried about the Rockets figuring out some stuff, and I wouldn't be surprised in game 2 if there's a couple altercations right off the bat with Dillon Brooks and just trying to get some sort of edge. And I don't know if Draymond's going to take the bait. It's the other side that bothers me is the Houston Rockets had a 65 offensive rating in the half court, 65 in game 1. Couldn't score in the half court.
Is that bad?
It's Wizards with 4 guys on the floor bad, okay? It's not good. So, Jason, you're coaching, you're Ime Udoka. Like, what do you do against Draymond, who is the best defender on the planet, to score in the half court?
There were a couple of specific things that actually worked reasonably well that they could go back to. They had some success with cleared side ball screens with Jalen Green and Alperen Şengün early in the game. You guys remember the dunk. But there was another one where he tried to go inside hand and Draymond blocked him off the glass, but the shot carried right back off to Şengün. He got an offensive rebound putback. What I like about those cleared side ball screens is they simplify Jalen's reads. The corner is not occupied, so he doesn't have to worry about a defender behind him. He can literally just hit the jets and make a simple read, which is either Draymond's there and I take the layup, or obviously hit Şengün in the pocket, or if the entire team sinks over, all of his kickout reads are on one side of the floor. So there's some stuff that can go to there. They didn't really go back to that after that first quarter stretch. Jabari Smith Jr. had a right shoulder fade that he hit over Steph. Now, let's be clear. The reason why I'm bringing these up, 0.65 points per possession in the half court is outrageously bad. Like, you've got to find something that works. And so they need to find some pet actions they could go to. The anything pick and pop or pick and roll with Fred VanVleet and Şengün worked pretty well. Like I mentioned earlier, Jabari Smith Jr. hit a right shoulder fade over Steph Curry. They never went back to that. Jabari Smith in the regular season got about 1.25 points per post up. Relatively low volume. He only did 49 of them in the season, but that's enough volume to where like you can throw him the ball a little bit and see, because here all you got to beat is 0.65 points per possession. It's like, doesn't have to be better than anything like that. Anything with Şengün in the middle of the floor, I thought worked relatively well. Some of the Amin Thompson ISOs I thought were more interesting. I'd probe that a little bit more. Early in the game, he actually just gets such great lift in the short range, and he's got decent touch in the short range on some of those like fadeaways that he takes. But then on the other end of the floor, it's just continue the game plan. Like, if you really dig into it, Steph had just a preposterous shot making game, and Jimmy Butler hit 6 jump shots. I think he hit 5 mid-range jump shots, and he hit a 3 over Amin Thompson on the right wing. So like, there's a version of this where Steph goes 8 for 22 and Jimmy Butler doesn't hit his jump shots, and you get more out of Fred VanVleet, you get more out of Jalen Green, more out of some of those actions we talked about, and they get some wins. I think the defensive game plan was fine. It just was simply that the on the other end of the floor, they couldn't get anything going. One last thing I'll say, they ran 4 possessions of zone, and they only scored once, and it was a Draymond Green floater where Fred was out at the top of the key, and Fred was like literally like, do whatever you want, Draymond. And Draymond was like, fine. And so he just went down the lane and shot a little floater. But they missed the other 3. And the defense actually did pretty well in those possessions. So I think we will see considerably more Houston Rockets zone in game 2 as well.
How do the Warriors stop them from assaulting them on the offensive glass? That was assault. There were charges.
They haven't been super, super efficient on them. Like, they got 22 second possessions last night, but they only got 22 points. For example, the Warriors got 6 additional possessions, but they got 12 second chance points. So part of it is like, that's what the Rockets do, is they miss shots and get their own rebounds a bunch in some of those groups.
They had 63 first chance points.
There's a certain amount of that. But like, I would say if you're getting crushed on the glass, consider using a little bit more Kuminga. You did hear Steve Kerr in one of the timeouts talk about how they don't need to be leaking out in transition at all, because they don't need the transition game, because Houston cannot score on them in the half court. If they can just keep them in the half court. Steve Kerr literally said that on TV for the world to see. He's like, these guys can't score on us. We just got to take care of the ball. So like, yeah, I think it's selling out for the defensive glass. Potentially probing Kuminga a little bit, but also understanding that you can lose that battle but win the war with Houston as long as you take care of those other factors.
Jason, our illumination, as we call them, the audience here, I think we can do this. I think we can get you across the 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I think you're at 99,800 right now.
Oh.
So I think if we just tell everybody right now to go to Hoops Tonight.
We're jumping on the bandwagon and giving you that last little push.
And then we take credit for all 100,000.
All 100,000.
Well, I would sincerely appreciate that. I gotta find a way to not celebrate this until tomorrow, because today's about Carly. That's the only thing. I do think it's gonna end up happening here in the next hour, because it can't be Jason hit 100K day. It's got to be Carly's birthday. But I gotta say, man, I'm just like, we launched the channel 18 months ago, and I literally can't believe it. And I'm just so incredibly thankful and blown away, and I feel like I'm living in like an alternate reality. It's absolutely crazy, but it's been crazy to see the channel grow. And honestly, this was a fun pod. I enjoyed coming on. You guys are gonna have to have me on again sometime.
Well, it's fun to see the audience growth on your YouTube, but more importantly, it's more fun to see your hair growth. I mean, that is really the thing.
The real progress.
Are you going to save a spot on that shelf back there for your plaque?
Oh, that's right. The YouTube plaque.
I'm going to have to move some things around.
What is going to get the boot? Like, is there anything on there that you're like, you know what? It's a replacement level decoration.
Probably the whiskey. I don't drink as much these days as I used to. It's probably the whiskey. And the Star Wars, can't take out the Star Wars. I have an aviation thing that I go through from time to time. I'm weirdly into dinosaurs, so like I can't really knock any of that other stuff off.
Look at Amin's backdrop.
This is my pride and joy. A custom custom commissioned artwork.
That is incredible. I mean, I've known for a while that you're a Star Wars fan. I've always thought it'd be fun to chop it up sometime. I am very much in the weeds of it. I love it so much.
Andor season 2.
I'm a little annoyed that Ryan Gosling is just getting a Starfighter movie instead of something a little bit more involved.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, I have zero confidence it's going to even turn into anything. They've done this now for like 5 years. And you're going to get a Star. You get a whole trilogy. Why not? Like, let's see.
They love a headline.
Whatever.
They marched him out there, though. They marched him out there. That was a victory lap.
They marched Patty Jenkins out for Squadrons as well. We're still waiting on that one.
Watching Kathleen Kennedy and Ryan Gosling's like watching Jeannie Buss after bringing in Luka Doncic. It's just like it's like the taking of the credit. And it's just I almost feel like something weird happened there anyway.
Except imagine if Jeannie Buss knew she was selling the team at the end of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't give a shit. Like, whatever. Yeah, here's Ryan Gosling. Have fun with him.
All right, that is Jason Timpf. I just checked out during that whole segment about Star Wars because I've never watched Star Wars. So, sorry, Jason. I apologize.
It's okay. My wife does the same thing.
Happy birthday to Carly.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us borrow you for this segment here. What would you like to plug? Obviously, the YouTube feed.
Yeah, we're just going to be live after the games every night throughout the playoffs. So just go to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel. And yeah, man, it's great to chat with you guys. And I'm looking forward to next time.